Hey all, and welcome back to Fuzzy Dirty Gaming and a crafting guide for the gear that I plan to have on week 1. This doesn't mean it's the same for you, it might be week 2 or week 3. This is essentially the gear I think you need to aim for when you want to start doing your endgame farming strategy and go and kill Uber, Elder and Maven. Now there is a gear set in the POB which is fairly well optimized and has got an expensive bow. I've called it Uber Elder setup because it might be the gear that I aim for because I hate bricking that fight. I'm not particularly good at it, so I like to overgear so that I know even if I play absolutely horrendously, I'm still going to get the encounter done. However, for the majority of people that aren't bad, like me, you don't need that much gear. So this gear set is really what I think you need to get those 2 fights completed fairly comfortably if you know the mechanics. So it's added into the written guide, which will be linked in the video description. You just need to go to week 1 crafting and then select the item that you're looking to craft. And all it will do is provide trade links where you need to buy a specific base, and then it's going to give you the odds where it matters on hitting it with your essences, and then just give a few screenshots and explain how to craft. The majority of the crafts are going to be done with fractured items and essences. I always farm essences, so it means it's not going to cost me as much because I'm going to get lots of the essences myself. If you don't, you want to buy them in bulk, and that's what we'll come on to in a moment. So what I really want to use this video to do is just give a few quick tips to make your trade life easier and really just go through the process for the majority of the crafts. The only thing to point out is the league migrated as I was making this guide, so the trade links wouldn't generate because there is no trade league. So even though these searches say Crucible, when the new league comes up and you use this search, it will just direct you to the current challenge league. However, as there isn't one now at the moment because we're in between leagues, the searches don't exist. So there will be sections where you get further down where I couldn't put trade links in. So it just says insert trade link when league is live. That's just a reminder for me to do it on launch day. But everything is explained what you need to do. So let's just read through one. Let's pick the amulet for an example. The amulet, we want to get big attributes on it. So I've explained you need an agate base because that's strength and intelligence and that's what we need the most. And we want to get big attributes. So there's going to be a trade search to search for fractured all attributes. These are normally quite expensive. Last league, I think I ended up paying quite a bit for one of these amulets. So use the trade link. If it is expensive, there is an alternative which I think will work out cheaper and it might even be better. And that is to get a fractured crit multi base. So if we go down here, we say if fractured attribute bases are too high, look for fractured crit multi and use fundamental fossils, which are normally 1C at league start, because that guarantees attributes. Just messing around in Craft of Exile with like 7 or 8 fossils, hit this amulet. So it hasn't got all attributes, but it's got big intelligence and big strength, which does just as well. So is this amulet the best amulet in the world? No. Is it good enough? In week 1, 100%. And it will then just go through to use intrinsic catalyst to put more attributes on, and then anoint high voltage to get more crit chance against shocked enemies, which we'll always be doing. So that's just an example of how I explain the crafts. I think it's fairly straightforward and I hope it helps a lot of people out. So I'm not going to spend any more time going through it. I'll let you look through the document in your own time. There's just 2 things I wanted to cover off. First is how to search for fractured items if you wanted to set up your own searches with different fractures. So what we'll do is just reset this trade window. And it's fairly simple to do. Firstly, set the item level of the item you're looking for. Fractured bases drop really early, so you might think you've found a good item and it's on a item level 30 base. So let's say item level 78 to make sure we don't get any really low level items, and we don't want it to be corrupted. So all you need to do with the settings here. You're then just going to take the type of item. So let's say in this case, we wanted to buy a feathered arrow quiver, and you decided actually, because you're going to play a tornado shot build, you want projectile speed to be fractured. So let's have a look. All you do is tilde, which is the squiggly line. I'll put it on screen in big font now. What this does is wildcard. So you don't have to know the exact wording of any of the mods. You just have to know what they entail. So let's say you knew this mod was something to do with projectiles and you want it fractured. You just do fractured projectile and then it'll bring up all of the options. So we want projectile speed. And then all you do is put in what the minimum is that you want, and then you just press search. Now get ready for some wacky prices and items because this is now standard league. yeah, we've got recombinated items and all sorts. Yeah, but in Trade League, you'll get lots of options and you can pick the one you want. What you can do is if you had several different fractures that you wanted to search for on a quiver, you can add them all in and search them at the same time. So let's say we wanted to do damage of bows. So again, tilde, fracture, damage with bow attacks, I think it's called, bow skills. And you wanted 40% for that. And let's say you were also happy with crit multi. So it'd be fracture. You don't even have to put the whole words in. Crit multiply with bows. And let's say we'd be happy with 35. If you just press search now, it's just going to say, I can't find anything. What you need to do is set count to 1. And then all this will do is search for one of these mods on any feathered arrow quiver. And it will bring you in order of cheapest. So again, we just press search. It'll go through and you can see there's a damage of bows one, projectile speed, and crit multi with bows. That's how you go about searching fractured items if it wasn't something you were sure how to do and you wanted to set up things differently to my trade links. The only other thing I want to cover off is just to make sure people understand how to buy in bulk. So let's say you're not farming essences and I've said you need an average of 16 essences of Wrath to complete your bow. So you decide to play safe, you're going to buy 25 and you'll either use the leftovers on another item or sell them. You can use this search function here to just put in Wrath. Anything that's got anything to do with Wrath will show up here. So we know it's an essence, there's 5 matches and we're going to go for Shrieking. So select it here. We can then get rid of this because we've highlighted the item we want. And then here you just select the currency you want to pay with. You can maybe, if you want to buy loads and loads, say I want to buy for Divines. If you only want a few, you probably want to buy for Chaos. So we've said we want 25 of these essences and we want to pay in Chaos, and then you just press search. And it will just bring you up the results of how much these items are and who's selling them. And then all you do is contact, go up to the amount you want. We said we wanted 25, so you just scroll up to 25. So you just press direct whisper and it will send this message to the person you want to buy off. I would like to buy your Shrieking essences for 50 Chaos. If it's there, he invites you to buy the essence. That's it. Job done. And it would be the same if you wanted to search for alterations to craft a magic item, for example. You could go in, I want 1,000 alterations minimum. I want to pay Chaos. Show me what's available. It will give you the search. They're really the only two things I wanted to just explain a bit before just letting you loose on the written guide. Ideally, I wanted to do a video about all of the crafting. I did start it, I pretty much finished it, and then when I rewatched it, it's just too long-winded and a lot of it is repeating the same craft item after item after item. And I don't think it really was useful to anyone. It felt boring watching it back and it just didn't really work as a video, which is why I just tried to bring a shorter video out, introducing the written guide and just going over the 2 things you need to be aware of, which you might need to do, which is buy essences in bulk and buy fractured items. That is it for this video. There's going to be one more video before League start, which is going to be my Atlas plans. I don't know if they've brought the map tiers out yet. They hadn't when I last checked. I'm waiting on that to know what sort of strategy I can do. I need to know what maps fall into what tiers. That's it for the video. Thanks for watching. Take care and see you in the next one.